Why did I sound Southern when I said that? All right, folks, here we go. Sorry, my name's Daisy.
What's a quirky fact that you maybe normally wouldn't share with someone?
My toes have never not been painted since I was 5.
I guess I used to be in a circus, and like I don't normally like talk about it, and then people like find out like randomly. They're like, "Wait, what?"
It's really weird, but a quirky fact about me is that I only throw up at midnight. So
How have you grown in your relationship with Jesus since coming to CBU?
I'll go. I don't know.
Not in the same order. You're doing great.
Okay. How to like let faith seep into every part of my life and soak into every part, and not just letting Christianity be like a slice of the pie. If your life is made of pie, it's just one slice, it's the whole pie. Now I'm passing the mic to Catherine.
There's so much more like joy to be had when I recognize like Christ died, like rose again, like gives freedom for like everyone, all tribes, tongues, like nations everywhere. And that was definitely something that I was like not brought up with, not something that I realized until CBU. Realizing that, and then realizing like, oh, Tartarus, like, oh, I say Tartarus. Okay, whoa, I've been missing all these things. Now help me like learn what do I do with it, and how can I like actually share this and apply this.
I'd say CBU just taught me like how to study the Bible, how to read the Bible, how to be active in my faith, and like what is God saying, and how do I be obedient to like what he's calling me to do, or calling all Christians to do.
The next question is who/what has played an important role in your growth this year?
Yeah, just Jordan, really. That's all. No, I'm just kidding. But definitely Jordan has played like such a big role in like helping me grow and caring for me holistically, and like allowing me to be a part of her life.
I would definitely say Jordan, just like being so consistent through like this whole year, and just like honestly just like my life at CBU.
Kind of like you're a close person who knows you well, and like to still see you being open and honest even in what you're struggling with. That's been something that's been super like just really cool to see, but then continue to point like us back to the word like in all of it. But like be honest, like you're honest, you know, you're not like, oh yeah, this is just like quarantine, you know, like stay at home martyrs, loving it. Like you're like, oh no, like this is hard, guys, but like, okay, how can we find joy in this? Or like, what is the word saying about this? Like looking to the Lord in that, which has just been super encouraging, and something that I've been really learning from you.
She taught me so much about what it's like to be faithful in a season, that there's not like a necessary like goal, just to be faithful. Yeah, if you want to make disciples overseas, like you have to like know how to make disciples like here in the US. I can talk a lot about like just what she's taught me, but just being able to like catch things that she does in her life, but then like not realizing how much of like an influence that had until like actually like reflected on it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I caught them from Jordan, and like she values it, so I'm gonna value it, you know. And
Practically, she helped me like manage my time more, keep me accountable, you know, put my phone on do not disturb, all kinds of good stuff. Put it on the moon is what we say. And then also like relying on community like at CBU and at church, like not just on Jordan, but her pointing me to other sources.
What is one of the most important things that you've learned since being a part of Challenge?
Challenge is all about acronyms, and maybe you've heard some of them, like there's RAMP, SOAP, DOPE, ACT, or CATS, FAITH, like there's so many. Just wasn't relying on God's grace and the fact that I don't have to work to earn his love or salvation or anything. Like he has already loved me more than he could have. Like it's all there. There's nothing to earn because Jesus has already done it all.
I have been a part of Challenge like freshman year, but to see like how much I've learned each year has been so cool, and like I'm so thankful that I like stuck around like
You are graduated.
But oh yeah, oh my gosh, I already graduated. You're right. Sorry, keeps thinking about it all the time. Yeah, I already graduated.
I'm a big visionary person, so if I don't get like the vision behind something, like I will not do it. And so I guess this year I've just been seeing like the vision, like there's like the whole diagram of like vision of discipleship and like why you make disciples, why you make disciples who make disciples, why you invest in a few and not in like everyone that you ever know. Invest in a few that could, you know, invest in more and more and more, and that will eventually like reach the world versus like me on my own try to reach the world. Like that was just a huge lesson for me.
So I'm learning as I'm processing this. But like discipleship in the context of the church, because like I said, I've graduated, as Jordan said already. Like I've learned all these super cool things from Challenge, but then I'm like, oh no, what's gonna happen when it ends? But the best part is, it doesn't have to end because God designed the church, which is super awesome. And he died for the church. He didn't just die for me. So many things. Okay, so anyways. Basically, like I want to continue making disciples and like being someone, like learning from someone all throughout my life. And that is something before college and really being like before Challenge. I didn't know what that meant or what that looked like or how to do that.
I'll ask a question real quick. For everybody, what is a Jordanism, so to speak? What's something that you distinctly remember God speaking to you through Jordan and her time interacting with you in the midst of Challenge and all these things that you guys are talking about that you will remember in 10, 20, 30 years?
How she loves trees, or how her music taste is actually really kind of weird, but it's great. Like things like that.
Really wise sayings, and she'll like pass on like a lot or repeat a lot of them, and then I'm like, oh yeah, like let me like really think about that. She said this like all the time. Like I planted the seeds, Apollo's watered it, and then but God does the growth. And like she'll say like discipleship's an art, not a science. I think that was something that she passed on. She's like, it's not me, but she just passes on things.
If you contrast like how awful sin is, it helps you understand like the love of Christ more, because you know, and then it gives more depth to who Jesus is. It's so cool. But another one that I was thinking of that you kind of like shared recently was just the idea of like memory and hope. She'll bring up a lot of like remembering how God has worked in their lives, how he's cared for us, and like clinging to that and knowing like who he is, who he always will be, because of hopefully I'm explaining this well because you're the one who told us this. But like clinging to who God is and who he's proved himself to be and has never failed in that, we can have hope in that he will stay the same and he won't change, and he will, like, his love is steadfast. And then because of that, we have the ultimate hope of Christ, and that gives us a purpose to be here. So that's super awesome.
No, you guys are awesome. This is so good to hear that.
I think what's neat is just to see the foundation that's being laid with all of you gals, that you're not relying on Jordan, but you're using her as a resource to step forward and to continue the discipleship beyond Challenge and beyond Jordan. And I think that's a great attribute that Jordan's doing, is passing you on. And like, she's not going to be here forever, but you need to go out into the world, like you guys said, make disciples out there. So
now that you've been there for a couple years, how do you feel about them?
Gosh, you're just really gonna make me cry, aren't you?
It's my gift. Sorry.
It is. I love him a lot. To do life with him, to see them grow, to see God give the growth, makes my heart very proud, super excited to see how God continues to work in their lives, and trusting him ultimately to keep them and to keep growing them and to keep working through them. So that's the best short blurb I can give without shedding a tear. But
right.
Yeah, love him dearly. Love him lots. Thanks so much for being here, for your continual support, your continual prayers and love and all the things. I wouldn't be able to be on campus and meet these lovely ladies without you guys.